Hello. Time for exam 2 review. Exam is supposed to be on Wednesday, which is in 2 days, and exam is on chapters 3 and 4. Now, I have seen the emails from yesterday and this morning regarding the issues we are having with MyMATLAB. Now, those issues are known. They are working to resolve the issues, and we are going to do the best we can with the time frame we have. We have to keep going with the material and the course. I was thinking of reposting those quizzes you guys are missing because you can't log in. I know that some of you can't log in. I am getting the screenshots and so on. Please make sure you are watching the announcements in Canvas, because that's the only way to communicate right now through the chat in a live stream and through the announcements. The issue that we are having is that we have to do the instruction online, and we are not going back to campus till July 6th is when the summer 2 begins. So we have to deal with this the best we can. Now, I'm sorry I can't deal with the emails because I don't have the time to respond to 100 emails a day from everyone, and we are literally getting 100 emails a day. Department and administration and students, and having 5 classes with over 150 students, there is just not enough time to respond to everything. So this is why you must go to announcements in Canvas and get your information there. I will be posting everything as it comes up. We know that the entire semester will be online. We know that we have to have all of the exams online. We know that we are not going to meet. We know that the homework and everything is the way it is right now, so we really cannot do anything about any of that stuff. Now, we did talk about the exam. We'll see how many of you take the exam. Unfortunately, only about 7 to 10 of you guys are watching this live and asking questions in chat. Please make sure that at least when you join the stream, you immediately type something in chat. I don't care what it is, so you know that, and I know that you are able to communicate, because that is the only way you can ask a question. If you have a question right now that you need answered, you can type it in the chat, or tell me that you sent me an email with a picture of the problem or something, because I don't have any other way of communicating with you. This is all we have right now. So now I have to go to the chapter review, and I'll go through random problems. We'll go through the list. So exam 2 on Wednesday, that's 4-1. So that's the when the test is, and it's going to be on MyMATLAB, right, where the homework is, and the problems are the same and similar to what you guys did on the homework and the quizzes that you are trying to do when the thing is working. So start on 4-1 at noon. So that's when we start with the exam, and the exam will be available and open to you all the way through. So let's say start, so end. It will end on 4-2 at noon. you have 1 hour from the time you start. That's it. 1 hour from the time you start. And then the exam will, if you click submit earlier, then you're done. If you do not click submit, the exam will just shut off in 1 hour time. These are like bullet points over here. There we go. What else is important about the exam? Chapters 3 plus 4. So that's 3.1 through, well, I believe it was 3.5, right? That ended. I think we ended with 3.5. Yeah, 3.5 and 4.1 through 4.2. That's it. Other sections that are skipped are all in intermediate algebra. So those of you that have to take intermediate algebra later on will be taking those sections. So that's it. Exam is in 2 days on MyMathLab. Starts at noon. So plan your time at some point in the day to take it. There are 24 hours available for this exam, and just take it in any one of those hours. Remember that if you start this at 11:30, right, it will just shut off in 30 minutes. So you don't have an hour at that point. You must start by 11 a.m. on Thursday. 11 a.m. on Thursday is the last when you start. If there are any accommodations in terms of the extra time or whatever else is on the accommodation letter, that will be followed for the exam as well. So plan accordingly to start earlier. Okay, so what is on the test? Well, already I told you what's on the test. It's these numbers here, right? Sections 3.1 to 3.5 and so on. So those are the sections. And what you are supposed to do is just go through all of the exercises we did in class, and all of the exercises you guys had the homework to practice as much as possible. Use study plan. Let me just type that in here as well. Use study plan in MyMathLab to practice. That's very important. Study plan is amazing. It has access to infinite many problems. You can just keep practicing there. Don't worry about grade or anything like that. It just tells you right or wrong and helps you solve it if you, right? It's a really minimum stress place for you to practice these things. All right, so chapter 3. What do you need to know from chapter 3? Well, number 1 is graph points. Need to know the names. Let's write it this way. Know the names. Terminology. So when it said x-axis, when it said ordered pair, right, origin, so what do those things mean, right? Number 3, compute couple of points in parentheses, graph them to get the line. Number 4, vertical and horizontal lines. Now let's go first x and y intercept. X, and y-intercept. That's your good old x, y, 0, 0 thingy. And now we can talk about vertical and horizontal lines. Six. What else do we need? Okay, so graph ax plus by equals c using intercepts. Graph y equal mx plus b using counting. And 8. Write the equation of the line given a, slope m, and y-intercept 0 b, slope m and a point xy, and finally 2 points x1, y1, x2, y2. So this is what wraps chapter 3. Oh, I forgot. Number 9. I'm writing it in red. Compute and interpret the slope. Compute m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Interpret the slope means positive for m larger than 0, negative for n less than 0, horizontal for m equal to 0, infinite, undefined. So that's what it means to interpret. And then finally we can have 10, rate of change. When you say, let's say, 5 miles per gallon, that's a slope. Means drive, let's go 15. So it's some kind of a SUV or one of those pickup trucks. So drive 15 miles per 1 gallon gas, right? So that's what the interpretation means. Or 16 per hour. You talk money. Someone is making $16 in 1 hour of work. All of these are slopes, right? So it's just interpretation of what it means. Now we can say 24 students per algebra class. So that would be 24 divided by 1. 24 students in one class. That's also a slope, and it shows how many students we have. And if you have 20 sections, then 20 times 24 is 480 students, right? In elementary algebra, let's say. So that will be a slope that we deal with. Chapter 4. way less stuff. Number one, be able to graph ax plus by equals c and y equal mx plus b. Well, that's from the previous chapter. 2, solve systems by graphing. And then you can have 3 different cases. One solution, so intersection, which is xy. No solution, parallel line. And finally, oops, that was a B. And finally C. Infinitely many solutions. Same line. Number 3, solve systems by substitution. The good tip over here is look for single x or y and solve for it, then plug into another equation. So the goal is to find which equation has x or y value which has a coefficient of 1 or -1, and then solve for that variable. And then when you solve for it, you plug the equation into the other equation and you go from there. Again, you can have one solution if you just get x and y. B, no solution if you get something like 3 not equal to 7, or whatever, if you get some nonsense. And C, infinitely many solutions if you get the true statement. So let me just say false statement, false. And over here, let's say you get 6 equals 6. True statement. So these are your 3 possibilities. They're the same as possibilities that you had earlier. One solution, no solution, infinitely many solution. It's just that now you don't have lines to look at and determine that visually. Now you have calculations to look at and determine everything. I still don't have any questions from anyone. So if you have any questions, please type that stuff in the chat. I'm just going to work out on random problems, right? Work out random problems, and then if you run into any questions, we'll work on that too. I'll start with the stuff that usually students mess up a lot, and that is find the equation of the line given 3, -6, and 1, 4, right? So you have 2 points given, and you're supposed to find the equation of the line that goes through those 2 points. So let's go and figure this out. The first thing we have to write, we are looking for y equal mx. Actually, let me write it here. So looking for y equal mx plus b, right? That's what we need. So need m and b. So that's what I'm looking for. Once I am able to compute that, problem is solved. So we already know the formula to compute m is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that's going to be 4 minus negative 6 divided by 1 minus 3. So that's 10 over negative 2, which gives me negative 5. Minus and minus is a plus, right? So we get negative 5. Now we can use any of the 2 points. So let's say use 1, 4. Doesn't matter. You can pick any of them. And m equals negative 5 in y equal mx plus b. Well, we have our y, it's 4. We have our m, it's negative 5. We have our x is 1 plus b. 4 equals negative 5 plus b, because negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. And when we add 5 to both sides, we get b is 9. There we go. We have m, we have b, and we just plug those two into the equation to get y equals negative 5x plus 9. Now, if you want to check, you have to plug in both points one at a time and make sure that the calculations work out. So I have a 0.14. So 4 should be equal to negative 5 times 1 plus 9. 4 equals to negative 5 plus 9. 4 equals 4. Great. You have to check the other one as well. So plug in. It was a 3 negative 6. Yep, 3 negative 6. If this one doesn't work, then the answer is wrong, right? This thing over here is wrong. So we need to have negative 6. Is that equal to negative 5 times 3 plus 9? Negative 6 equals to negative 15 plus 9. Yeah, negative 6 equals negative 6. Nice. So our solution is definitely good, because we have the solution, right? We have both of these give us the same answer, right? 4 equals 4 and negative 6 equals negative 6. So both points are on the line, and that's great. We have the equation of the line. So usually this is the problem that a lot of people miss. I'm not sure why. It's very straightforward in terms of compute the slope. And once you have the slope, compute b. And just plug in your slope and your b. That's it. I still don't have any questions on the stream, so I'm just going to work out 4 graphing problems. Graph, let's start with the easiest one. Y equals negative 2/3 x plus 4. So this is considered easy because it is something that we just get to count and solve. I'm going to steal the XY coordinate plane from here. There we go. All right, so remember that labeling axis brings points, right? So we put that on. And the way we graph these equations is we start with the b value and then we count the slope. So step number 1, graph y-intercept b, and in our case that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then number 2, count the slope rise over run. So we go 2 units down and 3 units to the right. And as you can see, this point is 3, 2. All I need to do now is to connect these 2 points with a straight line, and I am done with the problem. So we put a straight line through this, and we're done. This is full credit because labeled axis labeled all the points, and it's graphed correctly. So that's the way we graph y equal mx plus b. You graph the y-intercept first on the y-axis, which is why it's y-intercept. The graph cuts through y-axis. And then you just count the slope, remembering that negative means down. So for rise over here, negative is down, positive is up. And for run, it's always positive, so to the right. And just keep in mind that if you have, let's say, 6 over negative 7, that's the same as negative 6 over 7. So the negative should always be on top. Always keep the negative in the numerator. So that's the, actually let's put this big parenthesis like that. There we go. All right. So let's graph something like this. 2x minus 6y equals negative 12. So this is what we call the standard form. All right, so let's go and take a look at this graph. Now, this is a standard form, and because it's a standard form, we just get the chart with x and y intercepts, and we can graph it quickly. So when x is equal to 0, it kills this term here, and when that term is gone, you have negative 12 divided by negative 6, which is positive 2. Now, if I have y equals 0, it kills the y term, and now negative 12 divided by 2x is negative 6. So that's what I have. So now all I need to do is to graph it, and I'm done. I graph 2 intercepts. Graph 2 intercepts. So first we have our x and y axis labeled. I have a y-intercept of 2. And I have the x-intercept of negative 6. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 6. And all I need to do is to connect these two lines. These 2 points with a line. Right? So just draw the line through those 2 points. There we go. Draw the line through the 2 points. And we're done. So we have 2 types of graphs here. One type is the y equal mx plus b, also known as the slope-intercept form. You graph the y-intercept b first, and then you count the slope. And the second one is the standard form, where you create the xy-intercept chart. And once you get your intercepts, you plot the intercepts, and you shoot the point through them. Good. Now, on the issue of vertical and horizontal lines, we keep in mind that we only have 2 possibilities, right? Line is horizontal or line is vertical. And you need to remember the equations that are associated with them. So, if you have a vertical line, equation will be x equals a number. So that's our equation. For horizontal line, we have y equals a number. That's the equation. So if you run into x equals to negative 2, you have your x and y coordinate system. The line is here because it has to go through negative 2. If you run into a problem y equals to, let's say, 3, then 1, 2, 3. It has to go through 3. And that's all the wisdom of vertical and horizontal lines. You have to memorize the formulas, right? You have to memorize that x equals a number is always a vertical line, and it goes through that number, right? So you see it's a negative 2, it's a negative 2, right? It has to go through the same value. Cool. Trying to remember if I missed anything. Going through the review real quick. They do have these problems where it says convert. Let's take a look at this. Convert to slope-intercept form, and they give you 5x minus 6y equals 30. Okay. Well, slope-intercept form is y equal mx plus b, right? So, if that is y equal mx plus b, then when we divide, we need to get y alone. So what's in a way? 5x is in a way, and negative 6 is in a way. So we gotta get rid of those. So we'll start by removing the x term. And now we have negative 6y is equal to negative 5x plus 30. I can't combine these because they're not like terms, right? 30 has no x, and negative 5 does have x. So I can't combine them. And now I need to divide everywhere by negative 6. So y equals negative and negative is positive, so 5 over 6x minus 5, because 30 divided by negative 6 is negative 5. And we're done. There's your y equal mx plus b. You can graph this. And whether you graph in this form or you graph in this form, you have to come up with the same graph, because it's the same line, it's just different way of writing it. So I'm just going to put over here that this is called standard form. And this is called slope-intercept. One more concept to review in chapter 3, and that is the concept of parallel and perpendicular lines. Parallel lines have the same slope, which is m1 equals m2. Perpendicular lines have what we call a negative reciprocal, which is m1 equals to negative 1 over m2. So the problem says find the equation of the line. Oops. Parallel to y equals 2x passing through five, 7. Okay, well, from this line we are stealing that slope is 2. Because parallel lines have the same slope. If you want your new line to be parallel to the old line, that means that they both have the same slope. So we get the slope, if it was 2 in one, it is going to be 2 in the other one. So now what I have m equals to 2 and a point is 5, 7. Plug that into y equal mx plus b and calculate b. 7 is equal to 2 times 5 plus b. 7 is equal to 10 plus b. Take away 10 on both sides to get b alone, and you're done. So y equals 2x minus 3. That's what they're looking for. A line that is parallel to line 2x, but it goes through the point 5, 7. So technically that's in chapter 3. Need to know the quadrants, right? That's in the list. Where's my list now? So much. There we go. Over here. Including quadrants. So Q1, Q2, right? You need to know those. Compute the slope, compute the intercept, compute the x and y intercept. Right, all of that stuff. If you come up with any question for chapter 3, put it in chat. I'm going to work out a few exercises from chapter 4. there is not much for us to do. So they want us to solve the system of linear equations graphically. Solve by graphing. And let's say we have y equals 2x and 2x plus y equals to 4. So the system of two equations, and we are supposed to solve them. Okay, so now this one is going to be blue, and the other one is going to be red. We are going to draw. Now you have to be very, very picky to get these things correctly. Let's see. We have our x and a y axis, and I will start working on my blue equation. My blue equation is the slope-intercept equation, which means I'm counting the slope. I can rewrite this equation as y equals 2 over 1x plus 0. So I see now that I have a 0 for the y-intercept, which is at the origin. I go 2 units up, 1 unit over. And then I draw my line. And that's the first equation. For the second equation, it's in a standard form. I will be calculating x, y, 0, 0, right? 2 x-intercepts. So when x is 0, y is 4. And when y is 0, x is 2. Because you divide both sides by 2, 4 divided by 2 is 2. So now I graph 2 and 4. And we see that they intersect right here, which is 1, 2. So solution to the system is 1, 2. You have to represent that solution as a, well, my MATLAB will tell you type in the ordered pair or type in the solution or something. So you have to present it as a point x comma y. Right? The fact that you calculated x and y, whatever way, that's different, right? You have to make sure that you're presenting your answer. Now let's say you want to check before you type in. You will have to check 1, 2 in both equations. So plug 1, 2 into y equal 2x. So 2 equals to 2 times 1. 2 equals 2. That's correct. And now plug 1, 2 into the second equation. And the second equation was 2x plus y equals 4. So we have 2 times 1 plus 2 equals 2. 4. 4 equals 4. Nice. So it works in both. Done deal. Now, same system can be solved by substitution. You have y equal 2x, and 2x plus y equals to 4. Use substitution. Well, we already have that y is 2x, so we're going to plug that in here. So this equation is 2x plus another 2x equals to 4. That's 4x equals to 4. And x equals to, when you divide both sides by 4, right? You get 1. Well, we already know that x is equal to 1. And now use y equal to 2x to calculate y. So that's 2 times 1, which is 2. And there it is. X is 1, y is 2, so 1, 2. You have to get the same answer. I mean, you are using the same equations, so solution is going to be the same no matter which method you use to solve it. Let's take a look at least 2 more of these substitution problems. Say you have 3x minus 2y equals to negative 4, and 2x minus y equals negative 4 as well. So for this particular problem, we are supposed to look for the value which has a coefficient of 1. And that is this one over here, right? So that's the one which I called single, but means coefficient is 1. So we are going to solve this equation for that. All right, let's go. 2x minus y equals negative 4. We are subtracting 2x to both sides, and we get negative y is equal to negative 2x minus 4. Remember, we can't combine them because 2x and 4 are not alike terms, so we can't combine them. Now we divide everywhere by negative 1 to get y alone. And we get y equals 2x plus 4. Negative divided by negative is positive. So now we have what y is equal to. See, y is equal to this mess. That gets plugged into here because we calculated y from the second equation. That means we will be plugging it in the first equation. So the first equation looks like this. 3x minus 2 times, and our y is 2x plus 4, equals to negative 4. So 3x minus 4x minus 8. Remember that you are distributing this to both. Usually you make a mistake right there, so be careful. Equals to negative 4. We add 8 to both sides. So 3 minus 4 is negative x is equal to 4, right? Because when you go 8 minus 4 is 4. Divide both sides by negative 1. And we have that x is negative 4. Now, plug in to calculate y. So that's 2 times negative 4 plus 4. Y equals negative 8 plus 4 equals to negative 4. Wow. Negative 4 solution. Nice. Okay, let's take a look at one more of these. I'm still waiting to see if anyone is going to ask a question. So here's one more. Negative 2x plus y equals 24. And 2x minus y equals negative 4. Alright, so in this problem we have two of these that are singles, so you can solve either one of them. I'll solve the one on the top because all I need to do is to say plus 2x on both sides and I'm done. I don't have to deal with the negative. So y equals 2x plus 24. And once we have this, we plug in there. So 2x minus, in parentheses we have 2x plus 24 equals negative 4. 2x minus 24 when you distribute the negative. And now, wow, 2x cancels. So we get this garbage where negative 24 is equal to negative 4. Not true, right? Negative 24 is not equal to negative 4. And because that's not true, we say no solution. So that's the answer. The answer is no solution. What it means is that it means that there isn't a pair. There are infinitely many pairs of numbers in the world, right? There's not a single one of them that would make both of these equations work at the same time. So that's what it means no solution. All right. Still don't see any questions, so I'm going to work out a random word problem. Mixture. These are very popular problems. So one type of candy costs $2 per pound. Another type costs $3 per pound. An order of 18 pounds costs $47. How much of each type of candy? Obviously in pounds, right? So if you can solve this without the chart, go ahead. I usually use the chart to make a streamline, right? To make it always the same way. But if you can solve this without the chart, fine, do it. Now I'm going to put the chart down and organize the data. Candy type 1, candy type 2, and the mix of the candy. Pounds, money per pound, and finally money in the last one. So what do I know? I know that there is total of 18 pounds, so that's why it goes in the mix, that's the total. And I know that the total cost was $47. And I know that the type 1 candy costs $2 per pound, and the second one $3 per pound. So this is what is given, right? And now you need to fill in the rest. Well, the question says how many pounds of type 1 and how many pounds of type 2, right? Those are the questions that we have to answer. We don't know that, right? That's a question. So because we don't know, we're going to put X and we're going to put the Y for these two. So that's X and a Y. And now, across, we multiply them because that's the total cost. $2 times all of the pounds of the first type and $3 times the pounds of the second type. So now you have your two equations in these two columns. This column is X plus Y is equal to 18 because all of the pounds of the first candy plus all of the pounds of the second candy are giving us total amount of pounds. On the second one, it's the cost, which is the money. So all of the cost for the first plus all of the cost for the second is a total of $47 for everything together. So that's why these charts are so good. You just read the equations quickly off of them and then you can just solve them. Take away X on both sides. You have Y equals 18 minus X. And now, plug that in. Substitute. I mean, you're really not going to graph this with a 47 in it, right? So, substitution. So what do we have? We have 2x plus 3 times, and instead of y, I have 18 minus x. And that's equal to 47. So 2x plus 54 minus 3x is equal to 47. Because this 3 has to be distributed to both members in the parenthesis. Now we combine like terms. So that's going to give us negative x plus 54 equals to 47. We take away 54 on both sides. And we get negative x equals to negative 7. When you divide both sides by negative 1, you get x is 7. You can quickly calculate y because it's 18 minus x, which is 18 minus 7, which is 11. Now, if you box this, well, you're losing points, right? Every word problem requires you to write a word, or requires you to write a sentence. So, what's the answer? Answer is, there was 7 pounds of first type of $2 per pound candy and 11 pounds of $3 per pound candy. You can also say first or second type, but then you have to keep track which one was first, which one was second. It's easier if you just write what they are. Your customers will be happier, right? And that's what the exam is all about, guys. Figuring out the equation of the line, graphing all of that stuff, making sure you can deal with horizontal, vertical, parallel, perpendicular lines, graph standard form, graph y equal mx plus b, which is slope-intercept form, know quadrants and where the points are in each of the quadrants. And what else at the end? What else do we need? We need write the equation of the line when it's, stuff given to you. Solve the systems graphically, solve the system by substitution, and deal with the word problems. I did solve more word problems if you go and look at my video on 4.2 on the channel. You will find the 4.2, so just go to playlists and go to Algebra playlist. You will see 4.2 on that list. This video will be added also in the playlist for Algebra, so you will be able to find and rewatch this tomorrow if you need to. I know that the MyMATLAB has issues. Some of you can't log in. Just keep practicing problems from the book, or you can just watch my videos and also look up other videos online. All right. I will post in announcements once the exam is available for you to take. And if you have any question, make sure you post either in announcements or send me an email. Even though I'm getting like 7,000 emails right now, I'll try to find your email, especially if it's something regarded to the exam and so on. But it's just this mess with online teaching is really all we have right now, and we have to deal with it the way it is. So I will see you all in 2 days. Now there will be a class on Wednesday. You just take the exam at any time. On Wednesday at 1, I will be teaching the next section for you guys. So just please make sure that you are keeping current, because there are still exams 3, 4, and the final, and we only have like 6-7 weeks left. So we have to be on time and moving through these things. Final is cumulative. I will see you all soon. Bye.